Is there a place for the moiruas of this world? I'm standing in a township called Moirua. It's in Northland of Aotearoa, NZ, New Zealand. In its heyday, there would have been a lot more in terms of the population because they had the freezing works. And everybody would have worked there. And you can imagine that the place would have been pumping because they had employment. Sadly to say, it's the opposite today from what I've been told. There's more unemployment than employment. Is there a place for the moiruas? Yes, there is. I was here 2 weeks ago and I'm about to go into a meeting very soon. And in that meeting, I saw bandwidths of God's glory hit the place. I mean, the township was on fire. Why? Because the glory of God was being manifest. Do you know there's a promise found in the book of Luke, and it said valleys are going to be filled. It says valleys are going to be exalted. You're looking at a township that's not unlike that of a valley. It's got low socio-economic. You're looking at a valley in terms of employment. But the beauty about it, Iwatua, the God of Abraham, is filling these valleys with his glory. So here I am, standing in a moirua. And it's a privilege, because you know, I've had a difference in worldview. For a lot of us, we'd drive through this township, and if you blink, you'll miss it. You won't see any McDonald's, you won't see any Kentucky Fried Chicken, you won't see Bunnings, you won't see the warehouse, you won't see any of that. But you know, in these little townships, oftentimes God is doing something, and it's powerful within the Spirit. Just down here, from where I'm standing now, there is a ministry called the Aroha Room. And they have a charity arm to those who are less fortunate. That's right. They do what I call the Samaritan principle. One time, Iwatua had spoken to me, the Holy Spirit had spoken to me also, and he said this. He said, I'm going to judge the church by a Samaritan principle. Now, you may know the story of the Samaritan. Jesus spoke about that a man was injured, he had been beaten up, and a Samaritan came along and he took care of his injuries, put him in accommodation, etc. like that. And what the Lord said to me, I'm going to judge the church by that principle of charity. Well, Aroha Room is exactly that vision. They help those who are less fortunate. Kia ora everybody, we're now in the Aroha Room. I was talking to you before about the Samaritan principle that Ihu Karaiti, Jesus Christ, he underscored when he told us the parable of the need to show charity. And this here would have to be one of the better charitable arms that I know of. And this is Amy, and so she runs this. So I'm going to ask you, Amy, tell us a little bit about the vision of this place.
The vision started about 2 years ago, almost 2 years, when we just seen a massive need in our community. And so I came back to my whānau and we had a massive karakia. And the story that it came from was about this woman that had 8 children living in a shed and had next to nothing. And so that kind of thinged our hearts, and so we prayed over it and we came up with this idea of asking for donations, second-hand new, and giving it out to our community for free. A lot of people gave koha, but then their koha went to those people that really needed it, like that lady out there with the 8 children. So that's how it started.
So basically, it's a need that compelled you to want to do something and be very proactive.
Yes.
Now, I want to ask you this question then. Do they have to be Christian to get their needs met, or what's the criteria?
No, you don't have to be a Christian. It's anybody.
So, okay, saying that you don't have to be Christian, so therefore, do you find that your motive is basically unconditional love?
Yes, for sure.
That's interesting, isn't it? It has to be.
Yes.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
Now, I need to ask you a very straight question. What's your motive? Do you want to be popular or anything like that? What is your deep motive and why you do this?
My motive, the drive behind this is definitely God for me.
Awesome.
And loving His people, no matter what shape, no matter who they are. Me coming from a pretty hardcore background and knowing what it's like to go without and being too proud to ask for help. This aroha room, if I ever found it, before these things, it would have been brought some really warm thing to my heart. And the motive behind this is, yes, showing God's unconditional love through just giving, just giving whatever we can to whoever we can.
Do you know, those of you that are watching this, motive is very important. In any vision, and I know you'll be having times where they're testing times. Okay, it ain't all kosher, it ain't all just going to go easy. And therefore, if you haven't isolated your motive, then in that hour when things aren't going the way you want, it's at that point that you start to question why you're doing it. And if your motive isn't pure, then you'll find it will compromise your purpose level. Write that down. Okay, so where do you see this vision going in the next 12 months?
In the next 12 months, I feel that helping to inspire other communities, small communities, big communities, whoever, to come aboard with this. This idea of the aroha room, hoping to have it all around New Zealand, Aotearoa. And we've got one in Kaio, God's building one up in Kaikoura, and we're just hoping that we just keep spreading it, because this is not only just giving.
Okay, so you said Kaio. Yes. I understand that. That's another township, by the way. Kia ora for that. And what about, you said Kaikoura? Yes. Is there another aroha room starting there?
Yeah, well, we've been praying about it for a while now, and now we've got that wahine Alex over there that put her hand up that she wants to open one up.
Woo! Check it out! Give us 5!
But the aroha room's more than just giving things. It is, the foundation of the aroha room is our beautiful God, Jesus.
Yeah, awesome.
And that's why we run those programs like our Bible studies, if you want to turn the camera and show all that stuff. Right?
Yep, we'll show that for sure.
But it's all sorts of things, like people will come in and they'll have real mamai hearts and, they're unbelievers, but we get the opportunity to pray for them.
Okay, but hey, that's good, ain't it? Now I'm going to ask you this question. What is the greatest need in Moirawa?
Kai.
Did you hear that? The paipera tapu, the Bible talks about first the natural, then the spiritual. Yeah. People just need to be fed. Yeah. Do we have a youth issue here?
Yes, we do.
And, okay, let's cut to the chase here. You want to hear the truth, you're going to get it, right? Okay, what type of youth problems are we looking at?
Where do I start? All sorts. Our youth drink at young ages. Drugs, alcohol.
Drugs in a township this size?
Yep.
Interesting. What about gangs?
Lots of gangs.
In this size? And you got lots of gangs? I mean, this is interesting.
It is.
So when you say lots of gangs, like, are we talking about like 1 or 2?
No, more than that.
A number of gangs?
Oh gosh, say about 6 all up. 6 gangs.
Yeah. Those of you that are watching, that's why people like myself are in a moirawa tonight. Yeah. I'm here to make a difference. And you can. And you'll find out at the end of this program how you can be a part of this TA Māori Ora, because you can. People like myself coming here to tautoko what Amy's doing. You see, this. I'm going to cut to the chase here. You're going to get the truth. It's like this. Okay, a lot of times in the church we'll say to Amy, we're not going to support this unless you bring it under our total authority. And I'm not going to ask you because I don't want them to see you. They'll say, yeah. Okay, it's like this. But to me, it's like this. they're doing a great job, so I shouldn't have to feel that I need what they're doing, their kaupapa here, to be directly under me. I'm quite happy to be a part of this vision, because to me, I couldn't do this, so I don't have to try doing it, but we can support it. And that's the diversification that we get with the body of Jesus Christ, because we get arms, we get legs, we get lungs, we get a throat, we get ears. Now, are all ears eyes? Are all eyes tongues? Is all tongues going to be that? No, of course not. It's not going to happen. Albeit, we can be a part of this vision by supporting it morally, prayerfully, financially. Yeah, that's right. Write a check, just make sure it doesn't bounce. Yeah, don't worry, I'm going to sell this one. Boy, you believe it. Let's get involved together. Of course, the question is, what's my motive? Why am I involved in Little Townships? Candidly speaking, it's reluctant. And why? Because I'm a city slicker. And going to townships, there has to be a reason for me to do the season. That reason is very clear. The history of this nation started not in Auckland, not in Wellington, not in Christchurch, Dunedin. It started in Bay of Islands, Northland. For whatever reason, and I ask myself this 10,000 times, Iwatua, the God of Abraham, looks to follow the same route that took place when the settlers came to Aotearoa from England, when the missionary came to these shores, etc. And he's looking to follow the same route. You know, the Moidawas, the Kaios, which I'm going to be there in a couple of weeks and be speaking there. Hallelujah. Another revival footprint, another revival hotspot. And even Kaikoi, which I'm there every week. And the population is under 5,000 people. I mean, they're townships. You say, what's the attraction? I'll tell you what the attraction is. The glory of God. I've been doing ministry now for over 30 years, full-time I'm talking about, full-time over 30 years. And in that time frame, I've seen bandwidths hit meetings. I've had a journey of understanding His glory. And all those scenarios. But one thing is, in all that 30 years, I've never seen the levels of bandwidths that are hitting Northland at this time. Iwatua had said to me, the God of Abraham had said to me that there was a cloud over Northland. That's what makes the difference. A cloud. Because a cloud will eventually draw a crowd. But to start with, it might be the size of a hand, as it was when Elijah said to a servant, go up, look out for a cloud. He came back 0. Came back the 7th time and he said, I saw one, it's barely visible. Every move of God starts at a micro level, but it migrates to a macro level. The Moidawas are a blessing because Iwatua is moving, and particularly I found that out, what was it, a few weeks back when I was there, and boy, the bandwidths were strong. And just this week coming, we had a brilliant time there. And it was more body ministry style type of scenario, but it was absolutely a stunner. So you may say to yourself, why these townships? The townships are depressed until you see the glory. And that's what's happening now. As I said at the introduction, every valley's going to be filled. Ewatua in these last days. He is looking to fill valleys with his glory, with his presence. And he's doing a new thing. And I'm excited about that. So that's what makes the difference. You may be saying to yourself, well, how on earth am I going to come on board with this? Very simple. You can be on board with this in terms of your prayer. You can be on board with this in terms of your moral support. You can be on board with this in terms of your financial support. And I mean it. I'm not going to townships that are loaded. I'm going to where there is low valleys, low socioeconomic. So I need your support to make this happen. And you'll be given that opportunity because I'll have the details at the end. That's what my motive is. So I thought to myself, okay, given that I'm in this position of a revival hotspot because Ewatua wants it, therefore I'm going to do the best I can to promote the areas. You know, a lot of times in ministries, you see mission statements that got, we want to build the biggest church, etc. Tamir. I'm not like that. I want to build the biggest nation. I want to build a country that's going to reflect Ihu Karaiti, Jesus Christ. I want to build a revival nation. That's what I want to build. I want to see townships come alive. I want to be able to look at how can we improve the economy of this particular area. That's what I want to build. That's my mission statement. And that's my motive. Because you have to isolate. What's your motive in going to these areas? What's your motive of ministry? And that's what it is. So I want you to join me. And this weekend, a couple of days away, we start my first conference in Northland. First one I've ran there. I know it's going to be hot because God is in control. Kia kaha, nō reira, tēnā koutou, kia ora, koutou katoa. Remember, the vibe is alive in Northland.
To